Welcome, OMG family. Happy Friday. Good morning. I'm Tezzy Baldwin. I'm your host of OMG. I'm a caretaker. Today, I wanted to go over something that I know is a bit of a pickle. And I know that many families are tasked with the challenge of having to figure out if their loved one qualifies for Medicaid long term. How do I qualify for Medicaid? How do I know if I qualify for Medicaid long term? We are going to do a very long, extended series on Medicaid, how to fill out the application, um, what documents you need, that kind of stuff. But for today's Caretaker Minute, I'm just going to give you bits and pieces. And I also want to provide you with the resource that you can use if you are in a situation right now where you need to apply for Medicaid and you just don't know where to start or what you need. I wanted to share something with you. I found on a website called it's a law firm that we use. It's called the ARD Law Firm. And I'm just going to share their website first. This is their website. It's Generations Law Group of Texas, and it's the ARD Law Firm. They specialize in Medicaid eligibility crisis, aid and attendance, probate and trust administration, and crisis estate planning. I want to focus right now on Medicaid eligibility crisis. So they, talk about Medicaid crisis planning, long-term costs. It's super expensive as we age. How the cost is going to go up from $73,000 to $131,000. That's a lot. And then they have what they call a Medicaid maze, where their team guides you through the complexities of the Texas requirements of eligibility. Like I said, we've used them before. I've worked with a couple of different senior care organizations where we've, referred plenty of families over to them for assistance. This is their number. Excuse me. Their number is here. They're actually located here in Texas, as you can see, more specifically in Alvin. And I would say, give them a call if you have questions at this very moment about Medicaid to see if they could really help you. The other thing that I was able to find is on their site, actually, is something called Medicaid Myths, which I absolutely love. When I found it, I've saved it 100,000 times and I've shared it 100,000 times. So 2024 Medicaid Myths. So number one's myth: it is against the law to plan for Medicaid. The truth is Medicaid planning is legal when advised by an attorney. However, the consulting or services offered by non-attorneys is not. So, you can finish reading the rest of this. Myth number two: I can't give anything away and get Medicaid. The truth is that the Medicaid rules provide that a person can be penalized for giving away property in some cases, but a lot depends on how much is given away, when, and the date of the application of the Medicaid. The penalty could be just a few days or months. Myth number three: I have to wait 5 years after giving anything away to get Medicaid. The truth is that the penalty isn't always 5 years. Sometimes there's no penalty at all. Myth number four: Medicare will cover my nursing home bill. The truth is, Medicare only covers a small amount of nursing home care provided in this county. So let me just kind of go over that. And in general, there are 20 days of full coverage if you go to a nursing home after at least a 3-day stay, a three midnight stay in a hospital, which means if you're in a hospital for 3 consecutive midnights, you qualify to be able to use your Medicare in order to cover some of your stay. And that's if you have days available. Remember, I talked about in a previous video that Medicare gives 100 days of coverage. The first 20 days is full coverage, and the other 80 days is partial coverage. So, if your loved one just has Medicare and is in need of Medicaid, that's definitely something that the ARD law firm could help you with. If you have questions, you can always email me. I'm happy to answer any questions. If you're thinking about going to or sending your loved one to a long-term care facility, those are knowing if you need long-term care. If you're planning to keep them there long-term, you probably should have a good idea of what's needed prior to you even getting in contact with the facility. That way you don't have any surprises. Myth number 5, if I enter a nursing home as a private pay resident, I must use up my assets before I can get Medicaid. The truth is, you are not required to exhaust your assets to private pay for the nursing home care. There are many opportunities to spend down on eligible items that will enhance your estate and the family members you leave behind. So seek advice from an elder law attorney like the ARD law firm. Myth number 6, I can only spend down my assets on medical or nursing home bills. Truth is, same as they just said in the line before, that you're not required to exhaust your assets in a nursing home in order to pay down, bills and medical expenses. Myth number 7, I can only give away $17,000 per year under Medicare rules. The truth is, this is a rule under federal estate and a gift tax law, not under Medicaid law. Myth number 8, my wife is in a nursing home and will qualify for Medicaid. We both have wills leaving everything to each other. I will leave everything as is. That's the right thing to do. The truth is that the husband's will must be changed immediately. A Medicaid will must be prepared for the husband. It is essential that the wife receive nothing absolute from the husband, since her inheritance from him may and probably will disqualify her from receiving Medicaid assistance. That's a really, really, really big one for couples that are still together and are married. How are the estates divided? Should something happen to one or the other? Again, you have to get seek the counsel of an elder law firm near you, so that you can get those questions answered. I won't continue to go through all of the myths because there's only 2 more. Myth number 9, I can't transfer my house to my children because they may get in financial trouble and I will be out on the street. The truth is, a complete transfer could put your home at risk and cause a penalty. But there is a way to transfer at your passing and maintain complete control during your lifetime without probate. So a ladybird deed or a transfer on death deed. Look those 2 up. And the last one, myth number 10, I have to cash in my life insurance policy to purchase a prepaid funeral. The truth is that Texas allows us to assign the full life insurance benefit towards funeral costs when qualifying for Medicaid. For any questions on any of these myths, again, here's the Generations Law Group of Texas. This is their phone number and their address if you live in Texas. If you don't, find the law firm, the elder care law firm that is nearest to you, and get these questions answered. At least this provides you with some information to arm you to be able to take to the law firm to have those conversations. And then here's some Medicaid numbers that's pretty important. The income cap per state is $2,829 gross. And then the monthly maintenance needs allowance is here. the minimum community spouse resource allowance, the maximum community spouse resource allowance, monthly personal allowance, the diversion penalty divisor is here, the resource allowance for an individual, resource allowance for a couple, and then the maximum equity allowed in a homestead. All great information, all super helpful information. All of this, I am, happy to answer any questions on. Like I said, my recommendation is that you go to an elder care attorney near you, or an attorney that specializes in elder care that can answer these questions, as well as excuse me, as well as help you with your Medicaid application. Like I said, our Medicaid series is going to be long and extremely detailed because there is a lot of information that goes into applying for Medicaid. And you don't want to mess that up because, missing, not putting information on the line or documents that's required will cause them to just throw your application in the trash. They will not call you. You won't get anything, stating. You might get a letter, but I very seldom hear about them being, when I say them, Medicaid sending out information that speaks to the why, especially if you're applying on your own. If you're applying within a facility, they will provide the facility with information. Why? Because there is probably like a business office manager that is constantly calling and checking in on, the application, the information, that kind of stuff. So the more you call, if you're doing this on your own, the more you call, the more you reach out, the better it is. You'll be able to keep up to date with everything that's happening with the application, and you'll be able to know right then and there, if you call on that particular day, if anything is missing, if you need something more, etc. So if you're going to apply on your own, make sure you get a case number so you can have that case number to continue to call and follow up on. And then make sure you call every single day until it's approved. In order to even qualify, or to get that Medicaid going, you have to be in not you, but you're the caretaker, but your loved one has to be in a facility for 30 days in order to get that application moving. If they're in a building for 30 days and you want to take them home or you want to put them somewhere else, they have to be there 30 days in order for the application to not be labeled void. If you move them before a 30-day period, once the application is started inside of a long-term care facility, it's going to be labeled void, and you're going to have to start over from scratch whenever you do decide to apply for Medicaid for your loved one. I'm Tezzy Gilbert Baldwin. Thank you, my caretakers, for spending about 15 minutes of your day with me. As always, if you have questions, comments, concerns, you feel free to email me. And I will see you later. Have a fabulous Friday. Don't stress too hard. Take time for yourself today to just relax, relate, and release because you deserve it.